You know that feeling when you walk into a high-stakes meeting, or maybe you're starting a new job,
Yeah.
and you just get that sinking feeling in your gut, that little voice that screams, I am a total fraud.
Oh, yeah, the classic imposter syndrome. I think everyone's felt that.
Totally. But what's so fascinating is that today's deep dive suggests that feeling, that inadequacy, might actually be a qualification.
Not a disqualification.
Right. So today, we are unpacking a source called the paradox of the winepress. It's a really intense breakdown of the story of Gideon from the Bible.
Specifically Judges chapter 6. But this isn't, a simple recap. We're looking at the geopolitics, the economics, and really the psychology of a guy who is just completely terrified.
And the mission here is to see how this ancient text flips our whole modern idea of leadership on its head.
The argument is that weakness isn't an obstacle to success. In this framework, it's actually a prerequisite.
Okay, so let's paint the picture here. We're talking 12th century BC, and the situation for the Israelites is, it's a nightmare.
It's grim, yeah. The source describes their oppressors, the Midianites, not just as an army, but as swarms of locusts.
Wow.
And this wasn't just a war for territory, it was what the source calls scorched earth economics. They would wait until the harvest was ready.
The moment of maximum investment.
Exactly, and then they'd swarm in, take everything, and destroy the rest. It was calculated starvation.
That's brutal. So people were literally hiding out in caves.
Just to survive. But here's where it gets really interesting historically. The source points to a specific technological terror the Midianites had.
And that was the camels.
The rise of the domesticated camel, yeah. This gave them incredible range, incredible logistics. They were like these mobile cities that could just cross the desert where Israelite foot soldiers couldn't possibly follow.
So you've got starving farmers in caves against this high-tech, overwhelming force.
And that's where we meet Gideon. And the source paints this really vivid picture of him threshing wheat in a wine press.
That's the key anomaly, right? It's a bizarre image.
It's completely bizarre. Because you thresh wheat on a hilltop, you need wind.
To separate the grain from the chaff.
Right. A wine press is the opposite. It's a pit. It's windless. He's basically working twice as hard for half the result.
All just to stay hidden.
He's in a hole, literally and metaphorically. And the irony is, while he's down there terrified, an angel appears and greets him with, "The Lord is with you, O mighty man of valor."
Talk about a disconnect. He's cowering in a pit and gets called a mighty man of valor. A gibber hail.
It must have sounded like a cruel joke. Oh. And while he pushes back hard.
He does. And this is the core of the deep dive. In Judges 6.15, he gives his resume of failure.
He really does. He says, "My clan is the weakest, and I am the least in my father's house."
And the language he uses is so specific.
It is. The source notes the word for his clan status is dal. It means sort of dangling or poverty-stricken. Right. And for himself, he uses sire, the youngest or most insignificant.
So he's saying, I have no social capital, no money, no authority, nothing.
He's defining himself entirely by his powerlessness. Yeah. And the source argues that's exactly why he was chosen. It's this theology of weakness.
Right, because later God cuts his army down from 32,000 to just 300.
Less than 1%. The whole point is that if Gideon had been some powerful general, he could have taken the credit.
But with 300 guys against a swarm, you can't boast.
Exactly. Weakness becomes the canvas for divine power. If you're empty, you can be filled.
So to make this practical for you listening, the source uses this great modern analogy, the startup parable.
Yeah. Imagine a low-level manager working in the basement of a failing company during a hostile takeover.
Okay.
And the chairman of the board walks in and appoints that guy as CEO, not because of his resume, he has no resume, but simply on the chairman's authority.
So Gideon saying I am the least was factually true.
It was, but it was theologically irrelevant because the authority behind him said, "I will be with you."
And there was that one other thing. Before he could lead, he had to tear down the idol of Baal.
And Baal was the god of economic success, of security. He had to smash his idea of financial safety to find any real strength.
So if we pull this all together, Gideon's whole resume of I am the least, that wasn't the problem to overcome.
It was the plan. His insecurity was the very empty vessel required for a greater power to work through him.
That's a wild thought. We spend so much energy trying to hide our weaknesses.
When maybe those are the exact spots where we can be most effective. It really forces you to ask a tough question.
Which is?
If your greatest insecurity is actually the very prerequisite for success, what are you currently hiding that you should be using?